The great hall of Nexus Prime buzzed with angry voices from 800 different worlds. Admiral Zextar slammed his scaled fist on the metal table, making the crystal delegates jump. His yellow eyes burned with rage as he looked at the holographic image of a small blue planet floating above them. 50 years. He hissed through sharp teeth. 50 years these humans have ignored every message we sent. They refuse to join the Galaxy Council. They refuse to pay taxes. They refuse to follow our laws. Ambassador Velnara's crystal body sparkled with nervous light. Her voice sounded like wind chimes in a storm. Perhaps we should try talking to them again. War brings suffering to everyone. General Thurok clicked his mandibles together in disgust. His insect eyes reflected the light from 1,000 angles. Talk? We have talked. They do not listen. The hive knows only one way to deal with rebellious species. Around the massive hall, representatives from hundreds of worlds nodded their agreement. Some had fur, others had scales. Some breathed oxygen, others needed methane. But they all agreed on one thing: the humans had to be stopped. Zextar stood up to his full height of 3 meters. His military uniform was covered in medals from a dozen different wars. The humans think they are special because they live on one small world at the edge of our galaxy. They think we will leave them alone forever. What exactly have they done wrong? Asked a delegate with blue skin and 6 arms. They stay on their world. They do not attack anyone. They exist outside our control, Thurok replied, his voice buzzing with anger. Every species must follow council law. There can be no exceptions. If we let the humans ignore us, other worlds might try to do the same. Velnara's light grew dimmer with worry. But humans are still a young species. They only learned to travel between stars 100 years ago. Maybe they need more time to understand galactic society. Zextar laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. Young? They have built cities across their solar system. They have mining stations on asteroids. They have weapon platforms that can destroy small moons. They are not young anymore. The hall filled with worried whispers. Many delegates had not known about human military capabilities. They had thought Earth was just a primitive farming world, with simple technology. How do you know this? Asked a delegate, who looked like a walking tree. Our spy ships have been watching them for 30 years, Zextar answered. They cannot see our ships because we use stealth technology. But we can see everything they build. He pressed a button on his control pad. The hologram of Earth changed to show images of human space stations and weapon platforms. The delegates gasped at what they saw. The humans had built a strong defense system around their world. They have 800 battle stations, Zextar continued. Each one can fire energy beams that can cut through our strongest armor. They have shield generators that can protect their entire planet. They have built all of this in secret, while pretending to be peaceful farmers. Thurok stood up and spread his forearms wide. The humans are preparing for war against us. They know we will come for them eventually. They are getting ready to fight. Also, the Tuni 2, the Leaf 2, we Singris herself. Or maybe they are getting ready to defend themselves, Velnara said quietly. There is a difference between attacking and protecting. There is no difference, Zextar snapped. They refuse to join our peaceful galactic community. They build weapons instead of talking to us. They are a threat that must be removed. The voting began immediately. Each delegate pressed a button to show their choice. Red lights meant war. Green lights meant peace. The hall filled with the soft glow of 847 red lights. Not one green light appeared. It is decided, announced the Council's ancient computer voice. The Galaxy Council authorizes full military action against the human species. Admiral Zextar will command the invasion force. Zextar smiled, showing rows of sharp teeth. I will need the largest fleet in galactic history. The humans are more dangerous than any enemy we have faced before. How many ships? Asked Thurok. 9,700 ships. Zextar replied. Battleships from every member world. The humans will see our fleet approaching and know they cannot win. They will surrender without a fight. Velnara's crystal body flickered with sadness. So many ships for one small world. Is this really necessary? Yes, Zextar said firmly. The humans must see our power. They must know that the Galaxy Council cannot be ignored. When other species see what happens to rebels, they will never dare to disobey us. The meeting ended with delegates returning to their ships. Within hours, messages flew across the galaxy. Every world began preparing their fastest and strongest warships. The largest invasion fleet in galactic history was being assembled. On Earth, Dr. Sarah Kim sat in her underground laboratory beneath the mountains of Korea. Her computer screens showed strange energy readings from deep space. For 3 days, the readings had been getting stronger. Something big was coming toward their solar system. She picked up her secure communication device and called the Defense Council in Geneva. This is Dr. Kim at Deep Space Monitoring Station 7. I need to speak with Minister Chen immediately. What is it, Sarah? Came Chen's tired voice. The old man had not slept well in weeks. The energy signatures are getting stronger, Sarah reported. Whatever is coming toward us, it is huge, bigger than anything we have ever seen before. Chen was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, How long do we have? Sarah checked her calculations again. 72 hours until they reach Earth orbit. Thank you, Sarah. Begin Protocol 7 immediately. Sarah's hands shook as she entered the authorization codes. Protocol 7 was something they had hoped never to use. Deep beneath Earth's surface, ancient machines began to wake up. Systems that had been sleeping for 50 years came online. Humanity's greatest secret was about to be revealed. In space, 9,700 alien warships moved through the darkness toward a small blue world. They expected an easy victory against primitive humans. They had no idea what was waiting for them. The underground meeting room in Geneva was built to survive nuclear war. 20 meters beneath the Swiss mountains, the leaders of every nation on Earth gathered around a simple metal table. The room had no windows and only basic lighting. This was not a place for comfort. Minister Chen stood at the head of the table, his gray hair neat despite 3 sleepless days. Behind him, a large screen showed the approaching alien fleet. 9,700 red dots moved steadily toward Earth's solar system. Ladies and gentlemen, Chen began in his calm voice, the day we have prepared for has finally arrived. The Galaxy Council has decided to invade Earth. President Martinez of Brazil leaned forward. How much time do we have? 68 hours until they reach Earth orbit, Chen replied. Dr. Kim's deep space monitors show they are not trying to hide their approach. They want us to see them coming. Our faith, they want us to see them coming. Prime Minister Thompson of Britain raised her hand. Have they sent any messages? Any demands for surrender? Chen pressed a button on his control pad. The room's speakers crackled to life with an alien voice speaking perfect English. Humans of Earth. You have ignored the Galaxy Council for 50 years. You have refused to join galactic civilization. You have built weapons instead of seeking peace. We are sending 9,700 ships to your world. You have 72 hours to surrender completely. Remove all weapons from your space stations. Open your planet to our inspection teams. Accept Galaxy Council rule. If you refuse, your species will be removed from existence. The message ended with silence. Several world leaders looked pale and frightened. Others looked angry. Chen waited for the shock to pass before speaking again. This is why we built the Deep Defense Project, he said quietly. This is why we have spent 50 years preparing for this moment. Dr. Reyes from Mexico spoke up. Chen, Most of these people do not know about the project. You need to explain everything. Chen nodded and pressed another button. The screen changed to show a timeline starting 50 years ago. When the Galaxy Council first contacted Earth, they told us we were primitive children who needed their guidance. They said we must give up our independence and follow their laws. The timeline showed Earth's first meeting with alien ambassadors. Our scientists studied their technology during those early meetings. We discovered something important. The aliens are advanced in space travel and energy weapons, but they never learned to think outside their rules. President Kim of South Korea understood first. You mean they are not as smart as they think they are? Exactly, Chen smiled. They have controlled the galaxy for thousands of years using the same methods: overwhelming force, advanced technology, fear, but they have never faced a species that could think of new solutions. The screen showed secret research facilities hidden around Earth. For 50 years, our best scientists have been working on something the aliens have never seen before. We call it dimensional phase technology. Prime Minister Singh of India frowned. I have never heard of this. Only 50 people on Earth know the full details, Chen explained. We built research stations in deep ocean trenches and inside mountains. We used mining operations as cover stories. The aliens' spy ships watched us build normal space defenses. They never saw our real weapons. The screen showed complex mathematical formulas and strange machines. Dimensional phase technology allows us to move objects between different layers of reality. We can make something disappear from our universe without destroying it. How is this possible? Asked the president of Nigeria. Dr. Yuki Tanaka from Japan stood up. She was the lead scientist on the project. Imagine reality as a book with many pages, she said in simple terms. We normally exist on page 1. The phase technology lets us move things to page 2 or page 3. They still exist, but not in our space. And you can bring them back? Asked President Martinez. Yes. Dr. Tanaka nodded. We control everything. We can move objects to other dimensions and return them any time we choose. Chen took control again. The aliens expect us to fight with normal weapons. Energy beams and missiles and shields. They have prepared for that kind of war. They have not prepared for their ships to simply vanish. The room buzzed with excited whispers. For the first time since the alien message, the world leaders looked hopeful instead of frightened. How many ships can you affect? Asked Prime Minister Thompson. All of them, Chen said simply. We have enough dimensional phase generators to handle any size fleet. But we need to be smart about how we use them. Dr. Tanaka brought up new images on the screen. We cannot phase out all 9,000 ships at once. The energy requirements would be too high. We need to do it slowly, making them afraid and confused. Fear is our greatest weapon, Chen agreed. When ships start disappearing with no explanation, the aliens will panic. They have never seen anything like this before. President Kim raised an important question. What about innocent people on those ships? Are we killing them? No, Doctor, Tanaka said firmly. The phase technology does not harm living beings. The ships and crews are moved safely to alternate dimensional space. They are not hurt, just temporarily removed from our reality. Chen looked around the table at every world leader. We need unanimous agreement to begin Protocol 7. This will change everything. After today, Earth will never be the same. One by one, the leaders voted yes. When the final vote was counted, Chen nodded gravely. Protocol 7 is now active. All civilian populations will be moved to underground cities within 12 hours. Our space defense platforms will prepare for normal combat to hide our real capabilities. As the leaders left the meeting room, emergency sirens began sounding across Earth. Billions of people moved calmly into underground shelters they had practiced reaching many times. They did not know the details, But they knew this day would come eventually. In hidden facilities around the world, massive machines hummed to life. Scientists checked their equipment one final time. Earth's greatest secret was about to change galactic history. High above in Earth's orbit, space station commanders received their orders. Prepare for combat, but do not reveal our special capabilities until commanded. Let them think we are normal humans with normal weapons. The countdown had begun. In 64 hours, the largest fleet in galactic history would arrive at Earth. They expected to find a frightened, primitive world ready to surrender. Instead, they would discover that humans had learned to bend reality itself. Admiral Zextar stood on the bridge of his flagship, the Galaxy's Fist, watching the small blue planet grow larger on his view screen. Behind him stretched the most magnificent sight in galactic military history. 9,700 warships, arranged in perfect formation, across 1,000,000 kilometers of space. "Report," he ordered his communications officer. "All ships report ready for battle, Admiral," came the reply. "Weapons charged, shields at maximum, boarding parties prepared." Zextar smiled with satisfaction. Each ship in his fleet could destroy a city with a single shot. Together, they carried enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. The humans had never seen anything like this force. "Sir," called out the sensor officer, "we are detecting the human space defense platforms. 800 stations, just as our spy reports indicated." "Pathetic," Zextar laughed. 800 stations against 9,000 ships. These humans truly are as stupid as they are stubborn. General Thurok walked onto the bridge, his forearms clasped behind his back. "Admiral, my Marines are eager to begin the boarding operations. How long until the humans surrender?" "Soon," Zextar replied. "First, we will demand surrender one more time. When they refuse, we will destroy a few of their stations to show our power. They will give up quickly after that." The communications officer looked up from his console. "Admiral, we are receiving a transmission from Earth." "Put it on the main screen," Zextar ordered. The view screen changed to show a simple room with a human woman sitting at a desk. She had dark hair and wore a plain blue uniform. Behind her was only a wall with Earth's flag. "I am Dr. Sarah Kim, speaking for the people of Earth," the woman said in a calm voice. "We have received your demand for surrender. Our answer is no." Zextar stepped forward angrily. "Human female, you do not understand your situation. We have brought nearly 10,000 warships to your world. Your primitive weapons cannot harm us." Dr. Kim looked directly at the camera. "Admiral Zextar, we understand our situation perfectly. We also understand yours better than you think." "Impossible," Zextar snarled. "Your species has never fought a space war. You know nothing about galactic military power." "We know you have fought the same way for thousands of years, Doctor," Kim replied quietly. "Big fleets, powerful weapons, overwhelming force. But Admiral, you have never fought humans before." Thurok clicked his mandibles together in amusement. "Are you threatening us, little human? Your entire species lives on one small planet. We control 800 worlds." Dr. Kim stood up from her chair. "General Thurok, controlling many worlds does not make you wise. It only makes you comfortable with old ideas. Today you will learn that the universe is bigger than you imagined." The transmission ended. Zextar stared at the blank screen in disbelief. No species had ever spoken to the Galaxy Council with such confidence. The humans were either incredibly brave or completely insane. "Begin the attack," he ordered. "Destroy their outermost defense platforms. Show them the price of rebellion." The fleet's outer ring consisted of 200 ships from the warrior species of Krell VII. Their captains were known across the galaxy for their skill in battle. Energy beams lanced out from their weapons, striking the human space stations. "Direct hits on 20 human platforms," reported the sensor officer. "Their shields are holding, but showing damage. Zextar frowned. Human shields were stronger than expected, but not strong enough to matter. Continue firing. Break their defenses. The Krell ships fired again, their red energy beams crossing space like deadly lightning. But as they prepared for a third volley, something impossible happened. "Admiral," the sensor officer said in a confused voice, "I am losing contact with the Krell squadron." "Explain," Zextar demanded. "Sir, the ships are just gone. No explosion, no debris, no energy signature. They have simply disappeared from our sensors." Zextar rushed to the sensor station and checked the readings himself. 200 Krell warships had vanished without a trace. It was as if they had never existed at all. "Check for cloaking devices," he ordered. "The humans must have some kind of stealth technology." The sensor officer worked frantically at his controls. "No, sir. I detect no cloaking fields. No energy emissions of any kind. The ships are simply not there anymore." General Thurok joined them at the sensor station. "This is impossible. Ships do not just disappear. There must be some kind of weapon we have never seen before." "All ships report to battle stations," Zextar announced over the fleet communications. "Unknown human weapon detected. Increase shield power and maintain formation." But even as he gave the orders, more ships began to vanish. First, a squadron of Thorian destroyers simply faded from sensors. Then, an entire battle group of Zentari cruisers disappeared in complete silence. No flash of light, no explosion, no warning. They were there one moment and gone the next. "Admiral," called the communications officer, "we are receiving panic signals from across the fleet. Captains are reporting that ships near them are vanishing without explanation." Zextar felt something he had not experienced in 50 years of military service: fear. His hands shook as he watched the sensor display. Red dots representing his ships were disappearing one by one, leaving empty space where mighty warships had been moments before. "How many ships have we lost?" he asked quietly. 500 and counting, sir," came the terrible answer. Thurok's insect eyes reflected the growing terror on the bridge. What kind of weapon can destroy ships without leaving any trace? Not even our most advanced species have technology like this. "Sir," the sensor officer reported, "we are now detecting some kind of energy field surrounding the entire human solar system. It was not there when we arrived." On the view screen, space itself seemed to shimmer like water. Strange lights danced between the stars, creating patterns that hurt to look at directly. "Admiral," came a new voice from the communications station, "we are receiving another transmission from the humans." Dr. Kim appeared on the screen again, still calm and confident. "Admiral Zextar, you have now lost 537 ships. We want you to understand that this is not an attack. This is a demonstration." "What have you done with my ships?" Zextar roared. "They are safe," Dr. Kim replied. "Your crews are unharmed. But Admiral, your ships no longer exist in the same reality as you do. We have moved them somewhere else." "Impossible," Thurok whispered. "General Thurok, your species has controlled space for 3,000 years. Doctor," Kim continued, "but you have never learned to control the spaces between spaces. You have never imagined that reality itself can be changed." More ships vanished as she spoke. The mighty Galaxy Council fleet was melting away like snow in summer, leaving behind only empty space and growing terror. "Stop this," Zextar demanded. "Return our ships immediately." Dr. Kim shook her head. "Admiral, you came here to make us surrender. Instead, you are going to learn what it means to face a species that thinks differently than anyone you have ever known." The transmission ended, leaving the alien fleet alone with their impossible situation. Ships continued to disappear into whatever strange dimension the humans controlled. The largest invasion force in galactic history was being defeated by an enemy they could not see, could not understand, and could not fight. 3,000 ships had vanished. Admiral Zextar stood in his command center, surrounded by his best scientists and military advisors. The air was thick with fear and confusion. Every few minutes, another red dot disappeared from their fleet display. "Report," Zextar ordered his chief science officer. "Doctor." Krelnath adjusted his six-eyed helmet nervously. "Admiral, we have never seen anything like this technology. Our best theories suggest the humans have found a way to manipulate space itself." "Explain in simple terms," Zextar demanded. "Imagine reality as a flat surface," Dr. Krelnath said, spreading his forearms wide. "But what if someone could fold that surface, creating hidden spaces between the folds? The humans appear to be moving our ships into these hidden spaces." General Thurok slammed his fist on the table. "You are talking about magic, not science. No species in the galaxy has this kind of power." "Sir," interrupted the communications officer, "the humans are transmitting again." The main screen lit up with Dr. Kim's calm face. This time, she was not alone. Behind her stood an older human male in a military uniform and a younger woman in a white laboratory coat. "Admiral Zextar." "Doctor," Kim began, "I would like you to meet Minister Chen, our defense coordinator, and Dr. Tanaka, our lead scientist on the project you are currently experiencing." Chen stepped forward. "Admiral, 50 years ago when your council first contacted Earth, you told us we were too primitive to join galactic civilization. You said we needed your guidance to become advanced." "That was correct," Zextar replied angrily. "Your species had barely learned to travel between planets." "You were wrong about us," Chen continued. "You saw our simple technology and assumed we were simple people. But humans do not think the way other species think." Dr. Tanaka moved to stand beside Chen. "Admiral, while your spy ships watched us build normal space weapons, our real scientists were working on something your species never imagined possible." "What are you doing to our ships?" Thurok demanded. "We are moving them to parallel dimensional space, Doctor," Tanaka explained in simple terms. "Think of reality as having many layers, like sheets of paper stacked on top of each other. We normally exist on the first sheet. Your ships are now on the second sheet." Dr. Krelnath leaned forward with interest despite his fear. "That is theoretically impossible. The energy requirements alone would be enormous." "Your science says it is impossible because your science never tried to find new answers, Doctor," Tanaka replied. "For 50 years, while you were comfortable ruling the galaxy with old methods, we were discovering new ones." Zextar felt his anger rising. "Even if this is true, you cannot make all our ships disappear. You do not have enough power." Chen smiled for the first time during their conversation. "Admiral, would you like to see how much power we have?" On the view screen, the image split to show space around the human fleet. Suddenly, 50 ships that had vanished hours earlier reappeared in perfect formation. They flickered in and out of existence like ghosts, then vanished again. "Your ships and crews are completely safe, Doctor," Kim explained. "We can return them to normal space anytime we choose. But right now, they exist in a place where your weapons cannot reach them, and your communications cannot find them." The alien scientists on Zextar's bridge stood in stunned silence. They were seeing technology that went beyond their understanding of physics. "This proves nothing," Thurok snarled, though his voice shook with fear. "You have some kind of trick, but you cannot defeat the entire Galaxy Council." "General Thurok," Chen said quietly, "you still do not understand. We are not trying to defeat the Galaxy Council. We are showing you that Earth cannot be conquered." More ships vanished as he spoke. The alien fleet that had numbered nearly 10,000 was now reduced to 6,700. The pattern was clear. The humans could make their entire invasion force disappear whenever they wanted. "What do you want?" Zextar asked finally. "We want what we have always wanted," Dr. Kim replied. To be left alone. Earth will never join the Galaxy Council. We will never follow Council laws. We will never pay Council taxes. We choose to remain independent. That is impossible. Zextar protested. Every species must follow Council authority. That is how galactic civilization works. Not anymore, Chen said firmly. Today you learned that some species cannot be forced to obey. Some species have grown beyond your control. Dr. Tanaka stepped forward again. Admiral, your council has ruled through superior technology for thousands of years. But technology advances. What was impossible yesterday becomes possible today. You are threatening the entire galactic order, Thurak accused. No, General, Dr. Kim corrected. We are changing it. The galaxy is big enough for independent worlds and council worlds to exist side by side. Zextar looked at his fleet display. More ships had vanished while they talked. Soon, he would have fewer than 6,000 vessels remaining. If we withdraw our fleet, will you return our ships? He asked. All of them, Chen promised. Every ship, every crew member, completely unharmed. They will reappear in normal space exactly as they were before we moved them to parallel dimensions. And if we attack again in the future, then those ships will disappear again, Doctor. Tanaka said simply. Admiral, we can detect your vessels the moment they enter our solar system. No fleet, no matter how large, can reach Earth without our knowledge. Dr. Krelnath whispered to Zextar. Sir, if they truly have this technology, invasion is impossible. Ships that do not exist in normal space cannot fight or land troops. Zextar realized the truth. The humans had not just won this battle. They had made themselves unconquerable. No amount of ships or weapons could defeat an enemy that could simply make attacking fleets disappear. We need time to consider your demonstration, he said finally. You have time, Dr. Kim replied. But Admiral, every hour you remain in our solar system, more of your ships will be moved to parallel space. Eventually, you may find yourself commanding a fleet that exists only in dimensions you cannot reach. The transmission ended. Zextar stared at the empty screen, realizing that everything had changed. For the first time in galactic history, the Council had met a species they could not control. Sir, his communications officer reported, we are receiving urgent messages from the Council on Nexus Prime. They want to know why we have not conquered Earth yet. Zextar looked at his fleet display. In the time since the conversation ended, another 200 ships had vanished without a trace. Tell them, he said slowly, that we have discovered something impossible. Tell them, the humans have weapons that exist outside reality itself. Only 47 ships remained from the largest invasion fleet in galactic history. Admiral Zextar sat in his command chair, staring at the small display that had once shown nearly 10,000 red dots. Now it looked almost empty. Sir, his communications officer said with a shaking voice, we are receiving another transmission from the human planet. Put it on screen, Zextar said quietly. Dr. Kim appeared again, but this time she was in a different room. Behind her, large windows showed the blue Earth spinning slowly in space. Sunlight gleamed off cities and oceans that looked peaceful and beautiful. Admiral Zextar, Dr. Kim began, we know you have been sending reports to the Galaxy Council. We also know they have ordered you to continue the attack, no matter what happens. Zextar was not surprised that the humans had intercepted his communications. They seemed to know everything. That, the Council commands, and we obey, he replied. That is how galactic civilization has worked for 3,000 years. That system is ending today, Dr. Kim said simply. Admiral, we want to show you something. The screen split to show space around Earth's solar system. Suddenly, thousands of ships began appearing from nowhere. The missing vessels materialized in perfect formations, exactly as they had been before disappearing. Every ship that had vanished during the battle was now back in normal space. Your entire fleet is here, Dr. Kim explained. Every ship, every crew member, completely unharmed. We moved them to parallel dimensional space, but they were always safe. Zextar felt his heart racing as he saw his full fleet again. Ships that had been gone for hours were suddenly present on his sensors. Communications channels filled with confused voices from captains wondering what had happened to them. Now watch what happens next, Dr. Kim said. Again, the ships began to vanish. But this time, it was different. Instead of disappearing one by one, they faded away in organized groups. Squadron after squadron, the massive fleet became transparent like ghosts, then disappeared entirely. Within minutes, only Zextar's 47 ships remained visible. We can control every ship in your fleet, Doctor, Kim continued. We can make them disappear or reappear at will. Admiral, you cannot fight an enemy who controls whether your weapons exist or not. General Thurrock's voice came over the communications channel from his own ship. Admiral, this is impossible. How can they have such power over our technology? Dr. Kim heard the question. General Thurrock, for 50 years your spies watched us build normal space weapons. You thought you understood human technology. But while you were watching our obvious defenses, our real scientists were making breakthrough discoveries. The screen changed to show Dr. Tanaka in her laboratory. Around her, strange machines hummed with energy that made the air shimmer like water. We learned to see reality as layered dimensions, Dr. Tanaka explained. Most species think in 3 dimensions: length, width, and height. But there are many more dimensions that your science never discovered. Why? Asked Thurrock. Because you never needed to. Tanaka replied. Your species became powerful, using simple technology and overwhelming force. You never had to think of new solutions, because the old solutions always worked. Until today, Dr. Kim added, as the camera returned to her. Zextar realized the truth. The Galaxy Council had become lazy and comfortable over thousands of years. They used the same military strategies, the same technology, the same thinking. But humans were different. Humans had been forced to find new answers because they were weak and alone. What happens now? Zextar asked. That depends on the Galaxy Council, Doctor, Kim replied. Earth offers a simple agreement. Leave us alone, and we will leave you alone. Try to attack us again, and your ships will simply disappear forever. The Council will never accept that, Zextar said. They cannot allow any species to exist outside their control. Admiral, the Council's opinion does not matter anymore, Doctor, Kim said firmly. What matters is reality. The reality is that Earth cannot be conquered by any force you can send against us. The screen showed Minister Chen joining Dr. Kim. Admiral, we are not unreasonable people. We will return your entire fleet safely to Council space. Your crews will go home to their families. No one needs to die today. But in return, Dr. Kim continued, the Galaxy Council must accept that Earth is an independent world. We will not join your government. We will not follow your laws. We will not pay your taxes. Zextar looked around his bridge at his officers. They all showed the same expression: fear mixed with respect. The humans had demonstrated power beyond anything in galactic civilization. I do not have authority to make such agreements, Zextar said. We know, Chen replied. But you have authority to recommend what the Council should do. Admiral, you have seen what happens when the Galaxy Council tries to force Earth to surrender. Do you want to see what happens when we decide to take action against Council worlds? The threat was clear but spoken politely. If Earth could make Council fleets disappear, they could probably make Council planets disappear too. Sir, Dr. Krelnoth whispered to Zextar. Perhaps the humans are correct, Perhaps it is time for the galactic order to change. Zextar thought about 3,000 years of council rule. Every species had been forced to join or be destroyed. But now they had found a species that could not be forced to do anything. "I will recommend that the council accept your terms," he said finally. Dr. Kim smiled for the first time in their conversations. "Thank you, Admiral. We believe this is the beginning of a better relationship between Earth and the galaxy." "When will you return our ships?" Zextar asked. "Right now." Space around the 47 remaining vessels suddenly filled with ships. Thousands of council vessels materialized exactly where they had been before the battle began. Every ship was undamaged. Every crew was safe. "Admiral Zextar, Dr. Kim said, "your fleet is free to return home. But remember what you have seen here today. Remember that the universe is bigger and stranger than the Galaxy Council ever imagined." The transmission ended. Zextar looked at his restored fleet and knew that everything had changed. The Galaxy Council's age of absolute power was ending. A new age was beginning where some species would be too powerful to control. "All ships," he announced over the fleet communications. As the massive fleet turned away from Earth, Zextar sent one final message to the Galaxy Council. "The humans cannot be conquered. They have become something beyond our understanding. We recommend immediate acceptance of their independence terms." On Earth, billions of people emerged from underground shelters to see the alien fleet departing. They had won, not through violence, but through the power of human imagination and determination. Dr. Kim stood at her window watching the alien ships disappear into the distance. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy, not as subjects of the Council, but as equals, who would be respected and feared. The age of human independence had begun.